I will call the Thursday, July 7th City Council meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Womack.
Here.
Councilman Miller.
Here.
Mayor Shelton. Vice Mayor Wheaton.
Here.
Councilman Walker.
Here.
4 present.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask those that would like to do so to stand for the invocation given tonight by Dr. Robert Owens, pastor at Canos Church, to be followed by the pledge.
Let's pray. Gracious God, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Lord, we say thank you for this day. Thank you for the rain that we so need. Thank you for the cooler temperatures that we also need. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to live in this great community that we live in. But with all the many nasty things that we've seen go on in our country, we ask for your hand of protection to be upon Cookeville and in our county of Putnam here, and be with the leadership of Cookeville. Help them to make right decisions tonight, but also help us to think about and lean into those that we need to lead us moving forward in the very near future, Lord. We ask for your guidance and your protection, oh Father. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Owens. Item 3, approval of the agenda is presented. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Is there a motion on item 3?
So moved. Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Item 4A, consider resolution R220721, honoring Codes Department Director Jeff Littrell post-mortis, Mr. Mills. But I'll go ahead.
Let me say a couple words here. Vice Mayor, council members, as you know, on May 29th, we lost Jeff, who was our longtime director of our codes department. Jeff was not only a friend, but he was a very valuable member of our city staff and of our community, and we'll miss him greatly. A resolution has been prepared honoring Jeff, and Madam Vice Mayor, if you would read that resolution for us, I would appreciate it.
I'll be honored to. Whereas the city of Cookeville and the local community lost a very valued citizen, civil servant, co-worker, and friend on May 29th, 2022, with the death of Jeff Littrell. And whereas, whereas Jeff served the citizens of Cookeville as Codes Director for 25 years, his career with the city spanning over 32 years. And whereas diligently working for the betterment of and positive growth for the city, Jeff's work included the progressive implementation of the city's computer operation and the graphic information systems, as well as his expansive knowledge of the buildings codes, ensuring safety and quality for residents and businesses alike. And whereas Jeff Littrell was a member of numerous civic organizations, as well as preservation groups, including the Masonic Lodge, Putnam County Habitat for Humanity, Iguanas, Putnam County Masters Gardeners, and the Upper Cumberland chapter of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. And whereas a master storyteller, Jeff took great delight in sharing humorous accounts, historical knowledge, a kind word, and a good laugh. And whereas with his family being a great treasure, Jeff's daughters and granddaughters frequently were a topic of conversation, he always had time to give Ella updates. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Cookeville, Tennessee, that on behalf of the employees of the City Council, deepest sympathy is hereby extended to the family of the loss of Jeff Littrell. His work will always be remembered and appreciated. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that Jeff Littrell's memory be marked by honoring Jeff Littrell posthumous for his valuable service to the City of Cookeville as Director of the Cookeville Codes Department, and that this resolution shall be duly recorded and filed in the City Clerk's office, adopted the 7th day of July, 2022. I'd like to present this to his family if y'all want to come up. 4B, consider appointment to the Putnam County Library Board. Oh, sorry, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Is there a motion on this resolution?
So moved. Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion?
I would like to say something. Mr. Littrell, back before I was ever on council, over 10 years ago, when I lost my father, I was in the middle of a large construction project with him. And we were faced with having to continue this project without him at a hard time. And I will have to say that, you know, with securing a new contractor and working with the codes department, Mr. Littrell took me in without knowing who I am, other than, you know, knowing who my father had been, and just helped me as a young person really needing help. And really helped me out. And it went on to, after that project was done and I had some more experience under my belt, he actually signed my letter to get my contractor's license. And that really meant a lot to me back then. And I just wanted to share that with you all now. And we just really enjoyed having him here and miss him greatly. So thank you.
My wife and I were both in multiple civic organizations with Mr. Littrell, and anytime we walked into a room, he had a smile and just a kind, gentle soul, and we're going to miss that here. So.
From my perspective, he was always part of the city while he was just here, and he was just part of the city, and he's just going to be missed. He's just going to be missed.
Yeah, thank y'all for sharing him with us. It was a joy to see him sitting back there, and he wouldn't say much, but he would just have that little smile, and he was an honor. It's an honor to work with him. So thank y'all. Anything else? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 4B, consider appointment to the Putnam County Library Board.
Mayor's not here. It's Pat Phillips for
Thank
a 3-year term.
I'll nominate her.
Is there a second on that nomination? Oh, no, we don't need a nomination, do we?
I think
That's
she
just an appointment.
is the nominee, so I think you could just vote to appoint.
Is there a motion?
her.
Okay.
Second.
Second on that. Second on that. Is there any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 5A, old business, consider approval of minutes on the council meeting held on June 16th, 2022. Is there a motion?
So second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Consent agenda. 6A, consider awarding bids for transformers. And 6B, consider awarding bids for uniform, vest carry system, molly carry, body armor, and badges for the police department. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7A, hold a public hearing and consider on first reading ordinance 0220615, rezoning of 510 and 520 Ruby Lane, tax map 053, Group B, parcel 021.00 and 021.01 from CR Regional Commercial to CG General Commercial. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and council members. Here's a general location of the rezoning request before us this evening. There's a site map of the property. Aerial view, Mr. Donnie Suits on behalf of Capital Communities submitted a request to rezone from CR Regional Commercial to CG General Commercial. Properties located at 510 and 520 Ruby Lane. The subject properties are further identified as parcels 21 and 21.01 on tax map 53, Group B. This area consists of approximately 2.23 acres. The entire area proposed for rezoning, including street right-of-ways, contains approximately 2.36 acres. The properties are currently zoned CR, Regional Commercial, as are adjacent properties to the east, south, and west. Property is also bordered by CG, General Commercial to the north. The rezoning application was submitted to allow for construction of a new townhome development. The CR district is intended for medium to large-scale commercial operations of predominantly regional nature. These districts are not to be located on streets of less than major collector classification. All uses are to be developed within the district so as to offer convenient ingress and egress to such higher classified streets. The CG district is intended for moderate and larger size office, personal business services, and general retail services. The CG district also stipulates single-family attached dwellings are use permitted upon review by the Planning Commission, subject to submittal of a subdivision plat in accordance with the Cookeville subdivision regulations. The future land use concept element of the Cookeville 2030 plan depicts this area as best suited for regional commercial uses. The general commercial zoning district is compliant with the future land use plan. Ruby Lane is classified as a local street. The street is a substandard dead-end street that will require significant upgrades to support any new developments. A rezoning action to CG would be a downzone from the current CR classification. CG General Commercial provides flexibility and development on the subject property with higher density residential uses permitted in the district. The developer is aware that street improvements to Ruby Lane will be required as a condition of any development on this property. The Water Quality Control Department has provided capacity approval for up to 23 townhomes on the subject properties. The application was submitted for 11 two-bedroom and 12 three-bedroom townhomes. This is our rezoning area per the ordinance. Now here's some aerial views of the property. You can see this is where where Ruby Lane comes off of Mill Street. This is the area to be rezoned. Some of this area of Ruby Lane will require some improvements as a condition of any development. Another aerial view looking to the south. And there's a picture of Ruby Lane and its current status. So this rezoning was approved by the Planning Commission, as recommended by the Planning Department. I recommend your approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion?
Hold public hearing.
Thank you. Yes, we will go ahead and open the public hearing portion. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this agenda item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Now is there a motion on this item?
So moved. Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. Yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. 7B, consider resolution R220722, committing to provide an annual financial contribution to Tennessee Tech University for the construction of a new football stadium. Mr. Mills.
Madam Vice Mayor, council members, Tennessee Tech has announced plans to build a new west side of Tucker Stadium, and the university officials have requested we consider financial assistance from the city to help pay for the construction of this new facility. Of course, as you guys know, the university is a major part of our community. They contribute significantly to our local economy and play a vital role in tourism, in particular through the various events that are held at the football stadium, such as the two NSA football championship games. And with the new west side of the stadium, the university has committed to us to partner on bids for future Blue Cross Bowl, should we choose to go down that path. In addition, the new stadium would provide new opportunities for other events that we currently have, the university currently can't have at the facility. A total contribution of $1 million from the city is requested. It's proposed that revenues from our hotel motel tax will be used to fund the contribution. State law provides that the hotel motel tax revenue be used for economic development and to promote tourism. The construction of a new stadium would appear to be appropriate use of those funds. And I would respectfully request approval of resolution 22-722, committing the city to an annual contribution of $200,000 for a period of 5 years to the university to be specifically used for the construction of a new west side of Tucker Stadium, and that this contribution be funded through the city's hotel motel tax revenues.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to thank the university for taking on such a large project, a $30 million project, so a lot to take on. And this is just a minor contribution to that. But one of the hotel owners here in town, when we levied that tax on hotels, said, make sure it goes for heads and beds. And I think this is a perfect match for those funds. So thanks again.
I agree. I think this is a perfect use for the hotel motel tax to be used for enlarging the stadium and refining the stadium. So I think it's a good thing.
It's not often you find a fit where the city and the university can really help each other out. I certainly think this is that kind of fit to work together. But it's more than just tourism. The university, what you do for this town, what Tennessee Tech does for this town, is really meaningful. It helps our economy. It helps us grow. And any way that we can partner on a project like this is a good thing.
Yeah, thank you for letting us be a partner. I'm excited about the opportunity that we can do this. And like everyone said up here, it's going to be a great asset to this football. So thank you. Bass? All good?
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7C, consider resolution R220723 to acquire by donation, negotiation, or eminent domain certain land rights relating to improvements to West Stevens Street. Mr. Mills.
Vice Mayor, Council, design plans for the improvements to West Stevens Street from South Willow Avenue to U Street, which intersects just prior to West Jackson, have been completed. This project calls for the existing lane to be widened, the center turn lane to be added at Willow. Sidewalks are being installed on both sides of the street. Underground utilities and stormwater facilities that will be provided, and new street lighting will be erected. To complete these improvements, acquisition of properties for right-of-way and easements will be required. Resolution before the council authorizes the acquisition of the property by donation, negotiation, or eminent domain if necessary, and I would request your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7D, consider for approval contract to purchase real estate located on Old Sparta and Old Bridge Roads owned by Trinity Assembly, and to authorize the city manager to proceed with the purchase. Mr. Mills.
Madam Vice Mayor, Council, as you stated, Vice Mayor, I am requesting your approval of a contract to purchase properties located on Old Sparta Road, Old Bridge Road, and State Highway 111. They're depicted on the screen there. And for your authorization to proceed with the purchase. The properties are identified as parcels 67 and 117 on tax map 83 and are owned by Trinity Assembly of God Incorporated. According to survey, parcel 67, which is located off Old Bridge Road, consists of about 7.12 acres. There is a single family dwelling in good condition located on that parcel. Parcel 117 is comprised of two sections. One section, which is located east of Old Sparta Road and is the larger portion, consists of about 85.42 acres. There are 3 sinkholes located on this section of parcel 117. The other section is located west of Old Sparta Road, just east of 111, and consists of 16.66 acres. There is a single family dwelling in good condition located on this section. So combined, the parcels consist of approximately 109.2 acres. Trinity Assembly, which is now Hope Church, has approved a contract to sell the property to the city for $30,000 per acre, or for 109.2 acres, that computes to $3,276,000. Contract further stipulates that upon approval of the purchase agreement, the city will deposit $10,000 as earnest money. It also provides that the city will close on the purchase on or before November 1st, 2022. We became aware of Trinity's interest in selling the property a few months ago during our search for a location for an aquatic facility. The asking price for the 109 acres is actually less than some of the properties owners are asking for 15 acres, which is the minimum land area needed and recommended for an aquatic facility. It's anticipated that a portion of the 109 acres would be used for an aquatic facility if it's decided by this council or a future council to build such a facility. Putnam County has expressed an interest in purchasing part of the property. It's something we can explore at a later date. However, we currently have no such agreement. This purchase would be strictly to the city. The property has other potential uses such as public parks, other potential uses that could be for, especially at this price of $30,000 an acre. So I would recommend your approval of the purchase contract and for your authorization to proceed with the purchase.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion?
Yes. I'd like to say, I think at the end of the day, this is a great piece of property for the city to purchase. However, it doesn't mean it's going to get immediately developed. It's a great piece of property for, like Mr. Mills said, parks and recreation, expansion of services of the city. It could be a water park if the next council looks to do something like that. There's a lot of options and opportunity. With that being said, I do think, and I spoke to someone earlier tonight, I think that people in that area should be concerned with roads and that kind of thing, that there's not immediate development coming, and that if we do, or if the future councils do develop this, certainly they'll have to look at the traffic concerns and things of that nature. So right now, we're just looking to purchase this for raw land for future growth for the city. And that's the most important take on this.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the church for really helping us out. We've done an extensive land search, and this is a godsend to the city. So that's all I can say about that. And I do think that with some of our growth and some of our development that we've approved, that ensuring that there's green space down on that side of town will be very beneficial to our city. So
I think if all else doesn't work, it'll make a great park. It's a big piece of open space. You could build trails for walking, hiking, biking in that area. So if it stays kind of like it is, it'd be a great park.
I want to thank James too. I know you've done a lot of great work with this, making sure this goes through. So thank
Well, I
you.
appreciate you saying that, and I want to echo what Mark said. That it's been a pleasure to work with Trinity, their pastor, Scarborough. It's been again, it's been a pleasure to work with them, and I also appreciate them making this available for us to consider the purchase.
Yes. All vote.
That's correct. Oh, yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7E, consider approval to purchase sanitation dumpsters utilizing the Sourcewell purchasing contract. Public Works, Mr. Mayo.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, Council. We'd like to purchase dumpsters off of the Sourcewell contract. The purchase price is $30,603. This is a budgeted item, and I would recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
so moved.
Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
That's correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7F, consider awarding bid and approval purchase of emergency response equipment. Chief Evans.
Mayor, Council, we solicited and received 2 bids for emergency response equipment. We had 2 bidders, the lowest bidder meeting specifications highlighted in yellow. And also you see in the to be purchased line, there's the items that we want to immediately purchase. But these are also items that we, obviously we use generally for all of our emergency response vehicles, and we don't keep an inventory on hand, so we buy as needed as well. I would just recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
7G, consider approval of annual payment for in-car body worn camera system. Chief Evans.
Mayor and Council, this is for Axon in-car body camera system. As you know, it's probably been, this is our 3rd installment on that 5-year contract. And we do have an annual commitment for $138,384. The system includes, of course, our body cameras, our fleet cameras. We have unlimited cloud storage, and it is a budgeted item. And this this is paying last year's invoice, last fiscal year's invoice. And I recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion?
I think we were one of the first places in Tennessee to have body cams, as I recall from previous city council. And to see this evolve into something more, I think it's been an excellent investment.
Okay. All good?
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Continuing with the Chief Evans Show, 7H, consider approval for a lease agreement for 4 2018 police motorcycles. Chief Evans.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this is just renewing a lease that we have with Boswell's Harley Davidson. As you may recall, we had an original 3-year lease. We extended that the previous 2 years. I'm recommending extending it for a 3rd year. The lease payment is $12,000 per year and is a budget item, and I recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
7I, consider approval to purchase 7 vehicles. Chief Evans.
Mayor and Council, I'm proud to announce I finally got the data and the numbers that we needed. Apologize for work session, but as you can see there, we're requesting to purchase 3 administrative SUVs, a cost of $30,051 per unit, 3 Interceptor, and after our discussion, I figured out that we could afford the hybrid, so I went ahead and budgeted for the hybrids, and we stayed within budget in doing so. We were just, I thought they were going to be higher than this, but I think we're going to be okay. So 3 of those hybrid SUVs at $40,058, and then also a Chevy 2500 pickup for $34,785.20. Total cost is $245,112.20. They are on statewide contract and they are budgeted, and I recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
7J, consider approval for purchase of Dell Power Edge server model R7515. Chief Evans.
Mayor and Council, this is a Dell server. Just basically upgrade some server capabilities for our new building and also for the city of Cookeville. Is purchasing to a purchasing cooperative Omni Partners. Cost is $14,291.50, and we purchased this through our FF&E budget, and I recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
7K, consider approval of change order number 7 for the new police department headquarters, issuing a credit for the balance of all unused allowances. W&O Construction contract signed July 10th, 2020. Mr. Chief Evans.
Mayor and Council, I'm proud to announce this is the final change order on our facility. So this, as the item would indicate, amends our contract. And basically, as you may recall, the contract was initially for $14,397,277.43. So this closes the contract at $14,070,980.17. And bottom line up front, returns $226,248.26 to the city as unused allowances. So under budget that amount. And I recommend your approval for change order number 7.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion?
Throughout this process, we started a new way that we do contracts. I forgot exactly how it, what it was, where we work with the architect and then they bid throughout
I can never think of the one.
the actual name.
It works well.
But it's worked really well when we hit it right on time. How many projects in this day of time are coming in $300,000 under budget? So I want to thank you and Major Winfrey, sorry, for your hard work on this, and thank you very much.
Well, I would like to add just one more thing that, as I've said before, it's been a labor of love for Major Winfrey and I, but, really every department for the city kind of had a hand in this and made this thing come to fruition. So I want to kind of give them their due recognition, but quite literally the water department, electric department, codes, public works, all those departments kind of aided us in getting through this process, because we started knowing nothing, and now we've acquired a skill set we'll never get to use again. But but anyway, thank you.
Chief, I just want to say congratulations and good job anytime that a department can bring in a project under budget for the city. I think that's a great thing. This police station is a valuable asset to the city, and it's been a real privilege to see this from start to finish on the council. And I think that is something that I'm very proud of, and proud of your department for doing such a good job and really getting in there and doing the hard work to make sure that this comes under budget. That doesn't happen lightly. It was the hard work of you and your team and Major Winfrey that got this done. So thank you guys on behalf of the city.
Congrats.
Two city councils have worked on this, and I think I've enjoyed being on this council, but I enjoy being on the previous council where we all worked on this together to get this beautiful facility. So it shows you that city councils can follow each other and do real good things.
All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7L, consider approval of final balance change order for new police department headquarters, releasing retainage W&O construction contract signed July 10th, 2020. Chief Evans.
Mayor and Council, this is a request for the final payment of $77,689.48. As I previously stated, the final sum of the contract would be $14,070,980.17. Would also request that we approve release of the retainage back to W&O for $422,129.41. And I recommend your approval.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Chief Evans, for all of that. 7M, consider approval of engineering contract amendment number 3, 2020 wastewater treatment plant solid handling improvement project. Water Quality Control Department, Mr. Berry.
Vice Mayor and members of the council, this is a contract amendment number 3 to the wastewater treatment plant solids handling project. This project is run on, it's getting close to finished, but we're running over on our engineering and inspection work, construction admin. This change is for $37,200. $6,000 of that is for post-construction and warranty work for the engineer. $30,200 of that is what they estimate to get to the job to finish. And that'd be based on hourly rate, would be, should be under that amount. And we'll bring a final balance and change order to you on the construction end of the contract when we get finished. So I recommend approval on this.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7N, consider approval of engineering contract amendment number 2 for site suitability and preliminary engineering report, TTU pump station and storage facility. Mr. Berry.
Okay, we've had 2 engineering contracts for wet weather storage facilities. These first 2 slides sort of show where one is located at Tennessee Tech and the other one on I-40 or just north of I-40. Both of these contracts have done surveying, geotechnical engineering, and a preliminary engineering report. And so we're looking to combine, we're doing only amending one of the engineering contracts right now, the Tennessee Tech one, and we're going to combine the design work of both wet weather storage facilities and the pump station there at Tech into one contract. The amendment is for $1,036,474. It is a budgeted amount. It's under the budget. And so this will get the next phase. This is not getting the project to bid. This is getting the design. We plan on turning around and bidding the Tech project when, of course, we'll have to come back to y'all at that point. And the I-40 EQ basin, we're going to have it shovel ready in case we can find some loans, or not loan, grant money or some of the federal money out there that we can snatch. So I recommend approval on this amendment.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
7-0, consider approval to purchase 2 SUVs utilizing the statewide bid contract. Mr. Berry.
As you just said, this is on statewide contract. Price on these are $30,051. And these are just like sort of what Randy had a couple on his bids, and recommend approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7P, consider consider accepting offer on surplus property located at 545 Woodmont Circle. Mr. Turner.
We've received an offer of $330,000 on this property. This was declared surplus in May of this year. This offer does have one contingency for an inspection within 5 days. So in the proposal, I'm asking for the city to be able to accept this offer. If it falls through, to be able to accept another offer of $330,000 or more without having to come back for council approval on that. And I recommend approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. That concludes the agenda portion of the meeting. Is there anyone who would like to speak on any non-agenda items tonight? Anybody from the council have anything? All right, meeting's adjourned.